All right, if you guys have been following me for very long, you know I'm a big fan of this Bellows Gill 5.8-inch bait. And it's a trending video I've got on YouTube right now, so I wanted to do a more in-depth review about this bait and what I like about it. And I can remember back probably mid-September 2020, I saw them online. I saw one of their advertisements, and I thought to myself, well, this bait will either work really well or it won't work at all. And I was very interested in it. And the reason why has to do with the biology of bass that I think is overlooked by most fishermen. So I wanted to enlighten you guys on that. And it's called the lateral line system. Down the side of a bass, if this is a bass, right down the side of the fish, there's a specialized row of cells that can sense vibration in the water. Anything that moves in the water sends a vibration through that water. And bass have a highly evolved lateral line system that allows them to track prey. To give you an idea of how well it works, blind bass can feed just by using their lateral line system. They actually don't even need their eyes. The lateral line is so sensitive, they can still catch their prey. And the way this bait is made, I was very interested in, because the way it's pleated, I guess, is the best term. Maybe not the best term, but you get the idea. This bait is very unique in its texture and the amount how it displaces the water. So that's what gave me that original idea of, wow, that is something that's totally unique on the market, and the bass are either going to really like that or it'll really throw them off. And the first day that I used this bait, it was within a half an hour of putting this bait in the water. I had a nice fish. It's on my highlights reel on Instagram. I believe it's the first one. Just under 8-pounder, just jumped all over it. For me, the colors of this are important as well. I like the ones that are the two-tone colors the best. I don't know the name of this one. The bags they sent me are written in Japanese. This is the chartreuse green pumpkin. I think I've had the most success on the chartreuse green pumpkin. I have a lot of confidence in that bait. But this is the muddy gill, which is, it's got the purple on one side kind of coming around to a tan gray on the back. And I've had a lot of success on the muddy gill as well. Maybe a tie, I don't know, maybe I'm biased towards the green pumpkin chartreuse, but I've had a lot of success on both of those colors. You know, if that's where you want to start, that's probably where I would start. I get a lot of guys asking me how I'm fishing it, and it's a kind of a unique setup. I'm using this owner, I think it's like anywhere from 6 to 8/0 owner flashy swimmer. I prefer the Colorado blade, but sometimes you can't find it, and the willow blade works really well too. I like the blade for the versatility that it adds, and I'll get to that in a minute. It's really important with G-Crack baits that use a screw lock on any of them, really. I make sure I'm using screw lock hooks, or you can buy these screw locks and add them to your hooks as well. But that's gonna get you a lot more mileage out of these baits than just hooking them like a regular Texas rig, you know, back on the hook. And the one other feature that I don't have on there, I need to put one, but you see this rubber stopper? You see how I rigged that? I just screw lock it on, and I just come right through the middle of the bait and center it up and hook it. I had some problems with the bait sliding down the hook. It kind of got irritating. So I just get these extra large silicone stoppers and slide them up underneath there, and to help keep that bait pinned. And I'll show you, you know, when this bait falls to the bottom, it really doesn't sit flat like a flounder. It has almost like a dead fish or an injured fish kind of list to it, you know. And I think that helps a lot in picking up bites. Now, as far as versatility of the bait, I can fish this thing almost any way. It'll replace almost any bait in the tackle box rigged like this. The first way, just go straight to the bottom with it, maybe give it like a yo-yo up and let it fall, kind of fish it like a jig that way. Another bottom technique that I've used is just cast it out, and even though it has the blade, I just drag it along the bottom using the reel. I just kind of point the rod at it and just creep the reel along, add some pauses, but I just use the reel to drag the bait along the bottom. I've had good success dragging it. Another way to drag it would be to just give it the rod and then reel up the slack. Drag with the tip of the rod, reel up the slack. I've had good success with that. But I think the best technique that I've used is fishing it much more aggressively. Throw it to the bank and give it almost like a wake bait, where you're really aggressive with it at the surface, and then stall it and let it fall. And I picked up a lot of nice fish fishing it that way, a real aggressive at the beginning, and then give it that fall down into mid-range water. And then the last way that I've definitely got some bites on is just slow roll it. Just throw it out, let it go to the bottom, and then pick it up to where you can feel that blade turn, and just kind of swim it along the bottom. Add a pause or two in there till you get a little fluctuation in it. But this is a really versatile bait, and it's produced some really big strikes for me. Just big fish will trigger on it more than almost any bait that I've ever used. I've got a few others that I would put in this category, but if you're looking for something different, something unique, you're fishing for big fish like I like to fish for, I highly recommend the 5.8 Bellows Gill. You won't get, I don't have big number days, but I don't fish in lakes that big number days, the lakes I fish intentionally are trophy bass lakes. So I think my information might be biased there, in that I don't get a lot of bites on these baits, but I'm also not fishing in lakes that will generally produce a lot of bites for any bait. So I would recommend that you be really patient with this bait. Put it in and around all the structure you fish, and I think you'll pull some really nice bass with it. I hope this helps, and tight lines.